And I'm going to center it, mostly using this part of my hand here. And just by holding steady, give it a quick wheel wedge to help all the clay particles kind of get lined in the same direction. Pulling it up and then pressing it down. Make the hole, always multiple points of contact. Make sure you have enough water that it doesn't feel sticky. You want it to look kind of shiny. If it's not shiny, you're probably not using enough water. Make sure you stop before you get to the bottom. And then you can open it up, pull it straight back towards yourself. And although I'm putting all the pressure on the inside, I've just got extra hands here for more points of contact, so it's not just one trying to do everything. Smooth out the inside. And here I'm going to start lifting up the walls. Just going for a cylinder. So you're always better when you're making a cylinder. Don't try to go out. Always try to bring it in. You can always bring it out at the end because it'll go out quick on you, and it's always harder to bring it back in than it is to go out with it. So just go straight up. And one more pull. Before I start getting further on it, I'm just going to cut away some of this clay at the bottom. And smooth it off real good. Because when I'm putting the face on there, I don't want all the hand marks. I mean, you might want hand marks, leave them on there if you want to see the little throw-in grooves. Clean it off nice and smooth. So here I'm just going to push it out just a little to give it to kind of start to shape it into a pot more than a cylinder. Alright, so here's where I'm going to kind of give it some little guides to go off of. So first I'm going to sort of push out a little bit, and that's to be the bottom of the chin there. And then just a small area for the lips. So we've got chin, lips. I'm going to push out a little bit where the nose should be. And then one more time for the eyes up here. And then this will be the forehead area. So we've got these grooves. You're like, that doesn't look like any of that so far. So
I like that.
I know.
If I just get to that.
If I could get a cylinder
Just
that
do
big.
that.
you don't, because we're going to be pushing this into a face, this thing doesn't have to be all centered looking. It's
You know what? I'd like to
there's
stick
some
with
room
the
for
shoulder.
there's a lot of room for air on this. So, I think it looks best with 4, 3. 2 doesn't give it as much. You can do 3 if you want. So I'm going to do 1 just for the sake of the demo real quick to show you, and then so you don't have to spend all day watching me make 4 faces. And then later I'll come, while you guys are doing your own thing, I'll finish off the other faces. And it's fun, you can give each one sort of its own personality. But first I'm going to kind of press out for the chin here. So all I'm doing is pressing out there. I'm going to start to press out for the lips and the nose. So, the chin better. So here's where I like to use one of these tools that has like the little rubber thing for the rest of it here. So start with where will we start? Let's start in the middle with the nose. So give it a couple nostrils.
You're poking through.
And that's, if you wanted to hold water, you could go and seal up, but I'm not too concerned about that. So first we've got our nose, and I mean you can really give it one heck of a nose if you want. Give it. Now I'm going to start to work on the lips. I'm just going to give it a little indent there for the. If you want to smile, give it a smile. The nose. Now here's where it starts to come to life is give it some cheekbones. And don't be afraid to really kind of press on this clay.
I'm terrified.
And then I'm going to press indent a little to kind of help the chin start to show up. You can really see it starting to take on this face look now. And eyes. I'm going to press out for each eyeball there. You can get all cartoony and keep them real close together if you want. But here I'm just gonna. You can do this any which way, but I found that just by going under, almost like eyes shut, sort of helps. And you almost think like football shape, for the eyeballs. And you can get really in there and do eyelids and everything, but I just kind of like this eyes closed look. You can give a little dot for the people if you want. So now it's got eyes open. All right, now that the eyes are open, I think we have to do the top of the eye. The other face I'll do, I'm gonna do eyes closed. And little eyebrows. And his nose is the proportion that I want, but close enough. So that's your basic face. It's art. It doesn't have to be a realistic face. You can sit there all day and try to make a realistic face. I'd encourage you to do that if that's what you want.
That's fun.
So, I'll go back later and do the rest of the faces on here, but for now I'm just going to cut it off and I'll show you real quick is the hat, which I'm going to do a different hat than the one in the sample there that you see. So
Does that hat come off?
it does not, but of course you could make like a lidded jar hat if you want. I'm going to go for your stereotypical Southwest hat is what I'm going to go for.
Which is?
Kind of like a cowboy hat, sort of. Set that
Have you
aside.
done animals? I want to do dogs.
Set that aside
Aww.
for now.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, cats, dogs. We had a cat demo at one point. Was anyone here for that? No, that's a different class. Well, maybe we'll do that next time then, 'cause that's a fun one. Remember, if you get any clay water between your next piece of clay and the wheel head, that's going to slide around on you. So don't get water on there. Or you got to dry it all off. Alright. So for the hat, basically just going to be a bowl with sharper angles. So before I go out again, I'm going to cut away a bunch of this clay at the bottom. The kind of angle that I like. And if you are, this is the kind of thing that I'll just eyeball, but if you want, you can use these calipers to sort of know how big you should make it, where it's going to be sitting. But I always make the hat slightly bigger anyways, so it doesn't have to be exact on the calipers, especially if the hat's bigger, it's just going to fit on top. So here's where I'll just start going out. sun off of their head. And that's really all I'm gonna do for the hat. Exactly. And put the fire away. The hat is, I didn't use a bat, but if you have a bat handy, you can just pull it up, turn it upside down to see how your hat's gonna sit on there. Let's see, is this thing gonna, yeah, so let's bring the guy's head back. So, we got the head, and I don't want this thing to stick on there, so be kind of careful not to
If you
get
weigh
it
like
on
a
there.
weaving
But
toast, right?
yeah, there's
that's
your,
great.
so there's the hat.
Oh, nice.
So